So more than 10 years backwards we've gone in just the 2 years of this Labor government. That's never happened in recorded economic history, that kind of reduction.
I tell you, this government is falling apart at the seams.
And rightly so.
Anthony Albanese today said something that staggered me.
People normally say hello to Toto before they say hello to me here. And that's a good thing.
And I wonder now, again, does he have any clue how this economy works?
No.
New growth figures tomorrow. They're predicted to confirm our economy is barely growing now. In fact, that we're getting even poorer per person under this government. The fall in our disposable income is now the worst in the developed world. But Albanese today seemed unaware of just how badly we're going compared to the rest of the developed world when it comes to inflation. He made out that, oh no, it's the rest of the world that's to blame for that. That inflation was probably worse, this is the implication he gave, worse in other developed countries.
It disgusts me. He disgusts me as Prime Minister. I'm embarrassed. I really am embarrassed with his leadership abilities, and he blames everyone else but himself.
And I know people are doing it tough. I also know that
They don't care because they give themselves pay rises. Oh, sorry, completely separate, independent. No wage freeze for them. They got 3 pay rises since the last election. Prime Minister's got 2 new private jets.
And I know people are doing it tough. I also know that this isn't unique to Australia, that global inflation has had an impact, and in many parts of the world, including whether it be big economies like the UK or smaller economies in our region like Palau, they hit double-digit inflation. I know that interest rates in Canada, New Zealand, UK, in these countries were much higher, peaked higher than the 4.35% that interest rates have risen to here.
Who's this man trying to fool?
Ordinary Aussies in supermarkets.
However bad inflation once was in other economies like ours, like the UK, we're now doing worse than most under this government, and we're getting poorer.
And I hope that my journey in life inspires Australians to reach for the stars.
$36, a couple of crumbs, that'll be okay. PS, not 1 but 2 new private planes for me. Do I seem pissed off? Because I am.
Given that we are getting so much poorer per person, inflation is worse than most of our competitors, including the UK, it now looks even crazier, I think, to see this government cancelling a $1 billion gold mine because of secret Aboriginal business told by people that the traditional owners say are wrong about that, plus, of course, wasting tens and tens of billions of dollars on crazy energy schemes, green ones that keep falling over. No rational government would do what this government is doing. So what do you think is driving this?
I think it's a combination of pig-headedness and politics. The pig-headedness here is that the Labor Party obviously signed up its future to a green energy fantasy. And it's loath to move away from that track, even though all the evidence is building up. Their investment in weather-dependent renewables is doing nothing but make our electricity system much more vulnerable and the price of power for everybody much more expensive.
Great example of us providing cost of living relief.
So they're just stubborn, just simple and utter stubbornness to continue down this path against all of the evidence against it. And then the other aspect here is politics, and that's where that gold mine comes in. Clearly, Tanya Plibersek, I think there is a secret reason why Tanya Plibersek stopped that mine. It's that she needs green preferences in her seat of Sydney to stay in a job. So she is comfortable with putting at risk and stopping 800 jobs being created far from her electorate to satisfy the green activists who wanted this mine shut. That is what's going on here.
That's just called science and maths.
And the consequence for all of us then is that lower standard of living. We actually have had our standard of living fall to levels we hadn't seen since 2011. So more than 10 years backwards we've gone in just the 2 years of this Labor government.
And we will continue to do that.
That's never happened in recorded economic history, that kind of reduction in such a short space of time. That's why people are angry, and that's why people are scratching their heads and wondering, why do we have, after we've gone back, our standard of living's gone back more than a decade, why do we have a government stopping projects that could employ 800 people, that could boost our productivity and lift our wealth. It is totally inexplicable, as you say, except if you think that the Labor Party is doing this for their own narrow political interests rather than the broader national interest and what we need right now.
It's what Labor governments do.
I actually think that, there's a broader story here that, a bit like France before the French Revolution, we've gone from an age of reason to an age
of treason for reportedly undermining
ordinary Aussies. That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.